Xenoverse 2 is one of those games that's had a surprisingly long lifespan of almost 9 years now, and one of the biggest contributing factors to its longevity, I feel, is its giant, diverse roster of characters to pick from, as well as DLC characters to add to it. And one of the questions that I found myself asking, at least personally, is what would be my top 10 most overpowered characters in this game? What's up, homies? How's everybody doing? Welcome back to another Xenoverse 2 video, and in today's video, as you can see, we're going to be doing something a little different. I felt myself asking, what are the best characters in this game for PvP and PvE as well, because these characters are just universally good, honestly. And this is honestly my opinion. I've played this game for, since it came out. I played Xenoverse 1 and have poured a lot of hours into the game, as you can see. But we're going to go over what characters are good, what characters are bad, and pretty much my personal top 10 most, OP, toxic, overpowered, whatever you want to call it, characters in this game. But without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off our list at number 10, we give good old Jiren the Grey. Now, this is my custom variant. Now, all of the characters on this list, I think, but one are going to be the custom variants, because that's just how it is with this game. But Jiren here is good for a multitude of reasons, not too many, like you have options with the other characters that are going to be on this list. The supers that you can equip with Jiren with is, one of the best ones is Soaring Fist and Energy Wave combo, as you see there on my screen. These moves are good for a multitude of reasons. They do good damage at 160, as well as the recovery frames for them aren't bad. If you whiff them, you do recover pretty quickly. One of the other things that's good with Jiren, as you'll see me do here in a second, is the forward dash in, his elbow, or not his elbows, his cross arms like you just saw me do. They're good because you can stun your opponent for a little longer than most characters in this game when they do that, and you can, say, mix your opponent up with a grab or do a super, or if you choose to continue the combo, you can hit them with a unvanishable combo, meaning they'll have to hit their evasive out of it to get out of it. They can't regularly just snap vanish out of it, and it's pretty good because you can continuously just dash in and try to hit them like a lot of people try to do in this game. But with Jiren, because that particular animation is so fast, it works out to his favor and you can exploit it a lot in matches. But be warned, because it's not something that you can rely on all the time due to the game's netcode and whatnot, and people's individual connections and all that jazz. His back hit, however, is pretty good. It's not the best in the game, say like Final Form Coolers, or at least in my opinion. It leaves a lot to be desired when, again, the netcode isn't great, but you can, get good results out of it. It's not too bad. His grab is something that leaves much to be desired because of the long startup for it. It's something that can be just, stepped around, or your opponent's probably going to see it coming if they have a lot of time in the game and a lot of experience and have seen a lot of characters played in the game and have played against a lot of those characters. But yeah, no, I would say that Jiren here is a solid pick for number 10 due to just having a few things that you can exploit with him, and his stamina breaks aren't too hard to pull off, and just overall has really good damage. But yeah, let's see who's at number 9. At number 9 we have Bardock. Yes, indeed, the father himself. Now, Bardock here is good for a little bit more reasons than Jiren is, because his initial jab into his combo fires off pretty quick. The frames on it are very good, as well as the back hit. The kicks automatically put any other character in this, game like good, because you get two hits for your back hit with the kick, and his grab is the dragon throw, just like Goku's. It's one of the best in the game, honestly, in my opinions. But other than that, he does have access to some supers. I feel like his supers aren't that great, and that's where he lacks in, unless you're relying heavily on Ki Explosion like a lot of people do with Bardock. I don't have mine too crazily set up. You can also run Super Saiyan 3, which is a good damage multiplier, and when you are in Super Saiyan 3 at 160, the damage gets pretty bonkers. And automatically too, that puts him up a tier, because when you're in most of the transformations in this game, you can hold down the heavy to disappear and throw off your opponent and reappear and hit them. If your opponent doesn't know that's coming or mistime something. Other than that, like I said, his supers do leave a lot to be desired. I myself don't find a lot of use or think they're too great. I just kind of like run his supers and rely on, you know, just his basic stuff to win matches. He is, however, you know, one of those characters that just, you play him because he's got aura. You play him because he's got aura, he's got, you know, drip. He's just a badass. He's Goku's dad, so. And as you can see here, they did finally fix the Super Saiyan 3 transformation stamina regain. It's honestly one of the better updates they've had with this game. I don't understand why it was like the way it was, but yeah, let's gonna see who's at number 9, or excuse me, number 8. At number 8, we have Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Now, Super Saiyan 4 Goku is like Jiren and Bardock mixed. He doesn't have an unvanishable combo, but he does have ×10 Kamehameha, and he has Super God Shock Flash, both of which do really good damage, and honestly, should be kind of nerfed. But, yeah, other than that, his in and out frames, as you can see, are very, very good. He just moves around fast. He's just one of those characters. And his dash in elbow, like Jiren's cross arms, he actually recovers faster from that, I'm pretty sure. And again, you can mix him up, you can do whatever, and just overall is a really, really, really good character. I've seen people just whoop wholesale ass with this character. And, you know, sometimes I myself find it a little harder online to play this character, because his range is a tad bit short for those initial punches into startup, but they fire off very quickly. The unfortunate thing about this character is the only physical super he has access to is just Dragon Fist. I really wish that they would go back in and change that up for some of these characters. I know that there's not too much that they could technically have that makes sense, but you know, it just, for some of these characters, there are only 1 or 2 like physical supers or, you know, key supers, and I wish they would change that up and update a little bit. But yeah, I think Super Saiyan 4 Goku is a solid pick for number 8. So let's see who's sitting at number 7. Coming in on the evil side of the GT spectrum is Super Baby 2. Now, of course, he has really good startup frames on his basic attacks and whatnot, but he has a unique back hit that is, as far as I know, there's no other character in the game that has it, but it sends out a Ki Blast behind him, and if you hold it down, it'll send out a horizontal line of 3 Ki Blasts. Now, most of the time, this is really, really good. It usually doesn't miss, and it's super reliable. But it does have, you know, its fallbacks with the netcode involved. Other than that, the supers that he has access to are very good, one of which I don't have equipped here, being Reverse Shot. You send out 3 Ki Blasts and do an additional input to bring those back to your opponent. They have really good tracking and whatnot, but on the just as good point is Handy Cannon. This is an excellent, just stupidly overpowered move in this game. It's pretty much a shotgun blast, and the activation for it, as well as the recovery if you whiff it, as you see, is just dumb. Just look at that. Look at that. And Twin Darkstar is, it's also one of those good mix-up tools. Now, most people will just use it as a, cover for them. You can, throw people off by sending the actual projectiles their way by doing an additional input on the super once the balls are surrounding you. And just overall, he's one of those characters to where you're picking one of the higher tier characters in this game if you pick this character. He's honestly just reliable in all factors and does pretty decent damage, but I feel like he doesn't do crazy damage. It's just in his pretty much overall functionality. He's really, really good. And he it's just I have tore into, again, wholesale ass with this character, and just he is one of the cheesiest, I'll give you that, depending on how you set him up. But other than that, let's move on to the next. Next up, we have the fat man himself, Majin Buu. Now, this character is not too terribly great in his basic attacks. He does have a back hit that is easily perfect blocked. The rolls that he goes into after that, however, are pretty decent, even though there you saw me get perfect blocked. But his heavy attack, it can teleport over to the opponent. You do have a chance to throw them off if you do it. Where he really shines, though, are his supers that he has access to. The, Majin exclusive ones. The Explosive Punch and the Zigzag Express. Sorry, I was making sure I got the name right. I was looking at the screen. The Explosive Punch has invincibility frames, as well as it covers a pretty big area in front of you. And the Zigzag Express has pretty confusing startup, frames, so it's a little hard to tell if you're trying to perfect block it where to start that at. And overall, Majin Kamehameha is just a Kamehameha. It's just a good tool to use that's reliable in the game. His two supers that I'm using here are not super great, so don't pay those to mind. I don't really think most of his ults that you have access to, excuse me, not supers, the ults that you have are not too great. It's just pretty much, honestly, those two supers that give him that really hardcore edge, as well as if you're at 160 and have it set up, with a particular settings, you can give him a lot of health. But we're going to move on to the next. At number 5, we have Few. Few is the equivalent of about 10 Chihuahuas rolled into one that's personality was downloaded into a Dragon Ball character and then giving just immense power to do bullshit with. Yeah, that's Few. That's Few in this game. Most of his strategy when you play him is just kind of move in and out, guerrilla tactic style, and just kind of do damage where you can, because nothing he does is super overpowering. It's more or less just avoid and evade, or at least that's how I usually play him. His grab is not terribly great. There's nothing too spectacular about it. He pretty much does the Rock Lee thing and, primary lotuses you into the ground. His heavy is honestly very, very cool, because once you start doing the actual, swings he does with the sword and the kick, you'll start flipping towards your opponent, and every time you hit them, you'll do damage. Now, this doesn't do a lot of damage, but it's really annoying, and you can throw your opponent off a lot if they just don't know how to perfect block it on time. And the supers he has access to aren't really great in themselves, but if you start bombarding your opponent like I am right now with them, it can become very overpowering to them. The other one that he has access to, the vanishing one, where you vanish and then go into a spin after you reappear, the sneaking strike, it is pretty good. Again, doesn't do just ridiculous amounts of damage. It's just a good mix-up tool. And honestly, you can use it for a lot of reasons, vanishing while your opponent's doing a super themselves or an ult, maybe if you have the timing. And Evil Flame is just all around good. I think it does honestly the most damage on his supers that I've seen, at least. His ults are not too great. I mean, if you've played the game, you know that they're decent, they're not great, but yeah, other than that, this character just has all around good functionality and is more or less, at least in my opinion, should be played as a, you know, move in, move out, do damage here, do damage there until you wear down your opponent, and eventually win the match kind of deal. And I've had people just shit on me because they've played few, and the first time I had actually played against him, they pretty much did the heavy the entire time, and I myself found it really hard to adjust to this character. And overall, the ability to lock your opponent out of transformations can come in handy and dull down their damage if that's what you want to do. Other than that, like I said, his basic attacks are not that great, and they don't really do that much damage. It's just he's again really annoying to play against. And like you see here, just he's one of those characters that you can sit here and have no stamina, and because of just how good he is at the in and out game, he can sit at no stamina and, like I'm doing here, pretty much avoid and stall for time a lot. That's one of the biggest reasons why he's annoying. And just, overall, this was a very annoying match due to the connection this guy had with me and just what he had set up. If he didn't have this set up, it would have not taken anywhere near this long. But yeah, let's see who's sitting at the next one. Next at number 4 is Super Broly. Yes, you knew he was going to be on this list. I knew he was going to be on this list. Let's not play around and don't think he's like not one of the most toxic characters in this game. Not only can you give, you know, good old Broly here a shit ton of health, he also has a just dumb grab that he can do, that there are a lot of people that rely on that for their main strategy, and when you see him, you usually know that's coming. It's very rare that anybody who plays Broly or is going to play Broly against you is going to do anything other than that, because his grab is just so stupid and takes so much priority, and he lunges so far forward, as well as the 2 supers you see that I have equipped to him are going to be his bread and butter. The other 2 are pretty basic, but Gigantic Rage is a grab that you get armor from, and you slam your opponent to the ground multiple times, all Loki versus Hulk style. And Gigantic Slam is pretty much you hit it, you move forward, and grab them and slam them down while emitting a ki blast from your palm, ultimately ruining their face to where their own mother wouldn't love them. Other than that, his basic attacks are pretty good. They do have very good startup. Yeah, no, this character is just one of those ones that shine due to his just overall just functionality with grabs. He's a grab character. He's, you know, grabbing every day, grabbing your face, grabbing your ass. It doesn't matter. He's grabbing. But yeah, let's see who's next on the list, because you probably already know who's coming next on this list. You know. Coming in at number 3 on the opposite end of the spectrum is Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. Now, like I said, this character is pretty much the exact opposite of Broly. He is a just rush down character. He's going to throw hands majority of the time unless you meet someone that just primarily relies on supers. everything I've got set up on this character right now, I feel like super-wise, it's not that overpowered. He's just that good at dodging and moving in and out and moving around his opponent. It's not even funny. His frames are dumb. The schmoving he's got there is just, it can move around almost anything. And just, you're going to have Gogetas like this just throw hands most of the time. They're not going to do much else, at least in my opinion, or at least most of the time when I've seen people use him and use him well. It can be very, very toxic, and I would say he is better than Broly, at least in some regards. But if you just want to go with brain-dead gameplay, Broly would be the way to go, because it's a lot simpler and easier, I guess. Because you're only relying on doing a few things. With this character, you're going to be doing a bit more moving in and out and thinking. It's just, if you can, get around that learning curve, trust me, you're going to be taking wins. And it sucks because Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is not as good as this version of him, and it's a pity. They should really rework that character in the next game, if there's ever going to be one. But, yeah, other than that, he's just a schmixin monster. Just crazy frames. Sitting at number 2, of course, Final Form Cooler. This character, if you've played this game, it's overly obvious that this character is one of the most powerful in the game. Like, everybody and their mama who is on ranked plays this guy. And if you just want to take wins, you're going to play him. As you can tell, his basic attack is honestly, arguably, the best in the game. And Shadow Crusher being a key counter, sorry, lost the word. Shadow Crusher being the counter that it is to Ki Blast is really great. You can throw off a lot of people. Although I feel at this point it's a little expected with, Cooler in general, but Death Beam and Death Wave come out ridiculously fast, do really decent damage. Death Wave does a lot of damage. Death Beam is just more or less a good, fast, hey, I want to do damage really fast. Maybe not necessarily the best damage, but it's still really good, just due to both of their frames being dumb again. In this game, with these characters, all of them have these moves that just have really, really, really quick frames, especially if you want to set them up for that, competitively at least. Consecutive Ki Blast is also really good. His back hit there's nothing really to say. It's godlike. Once you back hit, you're pretty much doing it. And even if you hold it down, it's extremely hard to sit here and counter. I myself, I've played this game for an extremely long amount of time, and still find myself getting hit in most of the matches I play half the time by Cooler's back hit. Especially even if the connection is good, it's still hell on wheels to deal with. And as you can see here, yes, this guy is sitting here getting it close, but half of the work is being done on the connections end anyhow. And just overall, that's a lot of damage for one super that comes out that quick, Death Wave. It's just it's extremely good. But before we get to our top pick, that may surprise you, the specifics of it may surprise you, let's have some honorable mentions, shall we? Our first honorable mention is Trunks, specifically Custom Trunks, of course. I maybe should have put him on this list, but I have gotten, honestly, better results out of the characters I've put on the list than Trunks. Not saying he's not a good character. I wouldn't say he's overpowered like the other ones are. But he's right there, at least in my opinion. He's right there at the door, knocking on it and saying, "Please let me in, Father." And Vegeta's on the other end saying no. But yeah, no, he's just really good. Good grab, good back hit, really fast, can throw off your opponent, has an excellent counter, one of which, well, actually, one you can counter Ki Blasts, and the other one you can counter physical attacks. Yeah. And his Flash Buster is also really good. It does crazy amounts of damage. But let's move on to our next one. Next one is Android 16. Now, his basic attacks are kind of trash. I'm not even going to lie. They're pretty slow, and I feel like they're not too terribly great. But his grab, how he lunges forward, is pretty decent in my opinion, as well as his, again, like most people have in this game, that good, dash in hit that he can do to stun for a, kind of decently long period of time. And what kind of gives him his edge, or at least what made me kind of think he should have been on the list, is Rocket Tackle and I-Beam. These two moves are super fucking good. And he also can be equipped with a lot of health. Last character for the honorable mentions list is Custom Cell, honestly, surprisingly enough. Again, I honestly don't feel like he would be high on any kind of tier list, but due to him having access to different characters' moves, such as Death Beam and his new Festival Super, he's honestly up there when it comes to characters in this game, especially, again, given the fact that you can use his custom variant. It's very good. His back hit is not so great, considering it has a very... you can see the kick coming in. Some people find it hard to adjust to. I don't. Just watch the legs. And other than that, his grab is also really good because of how far, again, he leans forward or lunges forward when he grabs people. But now, for our top pick, a lot of you already know who it's going to be, but specifically which variant of the character, because this next one isn't a custom, funny enough. I will mention the custom version of this character, but it's not a custom, this next character. And for our number one pick, of course, it's Hit. Specifically, the festival version of Hit. No, not the custom variant. The custom variant is really, really good and is right there next to this one, but I feel that the custom move that he has access to now just... It makes him the best character in the game, because honestly, it's one of, if not the best super in the game, as you're gonna sit here and see in just a moment on the clip that I'm showing you. But yeah, no, this move is ridiculous. Not only do you move backwards, but it shoots you a decently far bit forward and locks your opponent into an animation to where they can't get out of it until after the damage is done. It's honestly, I think, the best move in the game. I don't think that Cax should ever have access to this move, ever, because that would just make them stupidly overpowered. And Cax in themselves in this game are a problem in themselves anyhow. They are probably arguably better than any character I've listed on this video, but yeah, no. Not only does he have access to this, but overall just his buttons are crazy, his recovery frames are crazy, and the only bad thing about Hit, and it's not even really a bad thing, it's just kinda, not so great, which is his back hit. Everything else is just overpowered as shit, toxic, just crazy. You're probably gonna win if you pick this character and know just 5 minutes about what you're doing. Not very much. All you really need to stick to doing is not going for back hits with this character or even the custom variant. Most people who play Hit won't do it. The move itself counters so much, as you can see, and it's crazy. And it's really good that, you don't have to deal with this, with Cax. The festival moves should never be anything that's given to Cax. Now, most of them are not stupidly overpowered. This is the only one that's like a really hardcore problem, but since it's on Hit, we knew it was going to be that way. And honestly, I may do another video on the most toxic / powerful moves in the game, because that's a whole tier list on its own. because there's just so many moves in this game that it's not even funny. And one of the other things that I did want to touch on now that we're at the end of the video is that, yeah, I didn't put Cax on this tier list because honestly, like I said, they're just in a class of their own. And to me, it's not really good to sit here and keep throwing up the actual like level cap, because think about something else. Do you know that when they raise the level cap to like 199, you're probably going to have to sit here and spend about $60 to $50 just setting up one character, unless you want to sit there and grind out just ridiculous amounts of time. Like I don't even, it's just like you would be spending months of grinding every day just sitting there trying to level up one character from 1 to 120 160, let alone whenever they raise it up to 199. That's honestly where like they're very much pushing microtransactions, but it is what it is. But yeah, I figured I'd throw up this clip of Custom Hit because honestly I think he's not, again, as powerful as the one with just the festival version of his move. It's weird because for a long time this character did reign supreme as like the best character, arguably right there next to Final Form Cooler, but I feel that Hit is honestly the best character in this game. And I mean, you know, I can be wrong. I don't go on ranked to play this game because I feel like there's really no point, and most people who play this game like there's no, like, people aren't playing it really different from ranked to non-ranked. It's just how it is. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. I think this is a good place to wrap up the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. It took me a long time to do this, but yeah, I'll let you guys get out of here and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next one.